Founded in 1908 and independent since 1972, the Kentucky Kernel is the nonprofit student-run media outlet for the University of Kentucky.
The Kernel offers the most extensive multimedia news coverage of UK's campus and the surrounding metropolitan area.
This year, the Kernel is launching a monthly digital magazine featuring broadcasts. In this special episode, we go off track and catch you up on all the things you might have missed.
On today's episode, you'll hear several stories, including a new restaurant opening near UK's campus, pro-Palestine protests, and the unreadable becoming readable, how UK researchers solved old scrolls using AI, and with a new update on how their research is going.
I'm Bryce Toll.
I'm Gianna Gallo.
And the Kernel Chronicles begins right now. Are you craving fast food at 2 in the morning? Then come check out Late Night, a new restaurant just off of UK's campus. Here's Nate Lucas with the story.
Mo Waheba is like many other UK students. He gets done with his classes in the afternoon and he clocks into his job. But unlike other students, he clocks in as the owner.
So my position at Late Night, I'm the owner and the manager right now. And so now after the class, I'm gonna walk back to Late Night because I have a food delivery. I get deliveries like Mondays and Thursdays. And so after I get all the stuff like in the freezers and stuff, I'll just start prepping and getting ready for being open at 6. I kind of had the idea in the back of my head, what if I do something that's on campus, open late, and then possibly also do delivery using scooters. I sold a part of my online business to fund this because obviously, I mean, like, it's a little hard to get funding if you're, 20 years old and you want to get into restaurants with zero prior experience. No one's going to really give you funds. So I was like, I have to fully fund this myself. That's the only way to do it. Well, a lot of people say that the restaurant business is one of the riskiest sectors you can get into, and I can definitely see that and see why. But I just felt and believed that I kind of was solving a problem, and the problem being there's not too many options available at night.
Mo makes sure to work hard every day with his employees, who all also happen to be students.
My girlfriend sent me an ad that was on Instagram, and it was opening up in a week. I'm like, well, I need a job, so, and it's great hours. You can pick your own times, just really works out.
Yeah, I think, since I'm a UK student, I thought it'd be cool if everyone working was also a UK student. It's number one, there's a lot of students that, are looking for work, and the fact that I'm so close to all the dorm buildings and stuff, it's nice because they don't have to find a way to get here. They don't have to pay for gas or whatever. They literally just walk down and come work here.
Yeah, they definitely get out fast. Probably never been too long. It's been longer than probably 5 minutes. Honestly, just try it. It's super good.
Farm to Fork, hosted by Campus Kitchen, gives students on UK's campus access to nutritious, home-cooked meals free of charge. Here's Reagan Chen with the story.
So I'm Lindsay, and I'm a second year, but I'm a junior, and I'm a dietetics major, and I'm the Farm to Fork co-chair for Campus Kitchen.
My name's Olivia, and I'm a sophomore dietetics major, and I'm the other Farm to Fork co-chair. When I was touring, when I was a senior in high school, my mom was like, look some stuff up about, the dietetics program. So I looked it up, and then I was able to meet with our advisor, and then through that I met Kendra, and she took me in here, so I walked around here. So I was in high school when I first came in the kitchen, which is really cool. So.
Where the food actually comes from is Trader Joe's or the hospital, Kroger, Starbucks for the pastries. We take it in here, and that's one shift. That's the recovery shift. They take it in here, and then there's a processing shift. So if things need to be those carrots that were already cut, someone cut those and then put them in the freezer just to preserve them. And then the cooking shift will come in and they'll cook all the food. We'll make a meal plan for them and write it and send it. And then the delivery, there'll be someone who comes and delivers to Ag North. But then the delivery, which you came to last week, is it a delivery? It's just our serving hour?
So In Funkhauser, we serve normally like 100, 115, and then we send, depending on the week, we send 15 to 20 meals to Ag North. I think Campus Kitchen does a really good job like addressing food waste and food insecurity on campus, and I think like that's a really important thing to be thinking about as University of Kentucky as a whole, and I think it's a great organization to be combating that because, you know, food insecurity, it's like 40% of students. So there's some other like programs on campus, but I think just looking at what are we trying to help is like the real big important thing. I think it's also really cool to just see so many people on campus come and like get excited, especially when it's their first time, like, I don't really know what it is. And then you explain and it's like, okay, cool. And then you see them come back every week. And I think that's like a really cool relationship as well, because we're here every week and they're here. So you have like this like, oh, hey, how are you doing kind of thing. And I think that's like a really nice thing about Farm to Fork in particular.
Breaking history is the mantra of JoJo Edmonds, the first ever male dancer to be a part of UK's dance team. Let's check out what sports reporter Samantha Money has to say.
JoJo Edmonds is the University of Kentucky dance team's first ever male dancer. The Lexington native made his debut as a Wildcat in 2022. Now, in the midst of his second year, Edmonds is all settled into his home away from home.
It's almost nerve-wracking because like one guy with 50 girls is kind of like intimidating because you never know how like the dynamic's gonna work out. But it was so like I made 50 new sisters is how I feel, and it's just a great time.
Taking dance classes with his little brother during his childhood, Edmonds developed a fast love for dancing, inspired by some of dance's most influential names.
But I personally fell in love with dance not because it was a sport or because of anything else. I fell in love with dance because I watched Usher and like Michael Jackson and Chris Brown from a really young age. And I told my first dance teacher that's what I was going to do in my life.
While it was a new experience for Edmonds coming to UK, it was also new for head coach Don Walters, who had coached teams with male dancers before, but never in blue and white. Following his dance career in Lexington from an early age, Coach Don knew what a great addition to the dance team Edmonds would be because of his talent and his fun-loving nature.
So JoJo just has an infectious personality, and so once he starts feeling okay, it's like you just get drawn in.
Because of this energy, Edmonds can often be spotted interacting with fans on the sidelines and getting the crowd hyped up. He's become especially popular with many children who not only enjoy interacting with him, but looking up to him as a role model.
A lot of people walk up to me and say that I'm this figure and like something for kids to look up to, and I love that so very much because like I had someone like that growing up that like saw my dream and saw what I wanted to do and really pushed me and always told me to go get it. And the fact that I can be like that walking idol for like younger versions of me is the part that like, to answer your question, that's the part that like is my why, honestly.
While Edmonds has made history at Kentucky, he's not the first male dancer to do so, as many universities across the nation are beginning to see co-ed dance teams. To Edmonds, it's no surprise, as he has experienced firsthand the welcoming environment dance in Lexington has brought him, as it does for so many others around the country.
Dance is such an inclusive environment that like is always accepting. It's like it's always accepting of the dance move and not the person. So I think co-ed dance teams are something that are like taking over, especially on the collegiate level. But just like dance in general is so inclusive, and I think that's where it's moving.
Bringing on the boys is even an era that Coach Don can get behind. With the amount of fun and new possibilities her and Edmonds have experienced with incorporating a male into game days, Coach is all for adding to the mix.
Since you have that game day kind of thing, you know, we've got to kind of make it work to what's best for us and what's going to be great for our crowd, what our crowd's going to love to watch. And that's going to still be a variety of dances. So if we have more guys and we do some of those different dances, then that's kind of what we'll do, and then we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, totally open to more guys.
It's an exciting unknown for any dance team, but it's one that Edmonds can credit to the inclusive environment and family he has found in the bluegrass. Reporting for the Kentucky Kernel, I'm Samantha Money.
Pro-Palestine protesters gathered on Election Day at the Capitol building in Frankfurt to have their voices heard. Our reporter Laurel Swan has more on the story.
There is only one solution, Intifada revolution. There is only one solution, Intifada revolution. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
As tensions rise in the Middle East, Kentuckians are making their voices heard. I'm Laurel Swan with the Kentucky Kernel, reporting from the Kentucky State Capitol.
Protesters of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict gathered outside the Kentucky State Capitol on November 7th, Election Day, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Protest organizer Jenna Shalash said that the protest being on Election Day was no accident. Many of the organizers and attendees of the protest chose to write in Palestine or Free Palestine on their ballots, or to not vote at all.
The reason we brought it here is so that our representatives know that they are not representing their people. I think that's really important. They say that they unequivocally support one side, and instead they're not taking what their constituents have to say. And we are telling them that if you do not represent us, we will not vote for you. We thought the significance of being at the Capitol here kind of goes to show, from 3 to 6, we're here. We're not voting for you.
The protest consisted of group chants, prayers, and numerous guest speakers.
The tide has changed. We will be heard. We are not here to raise awareness of what is happening in Palestine. One has to be blind and or morally and ethically bankrupt to be oblivious to what is transpiring. We are here to send a message. Palestine is a red line for all of us.
Attendees were encouraged to call Kentucky Representative Andy Barr and read scripts, which organizers handed out, demanding him to stop U.S. funding of Israel.
I think that our politicians are quick to say that they represent Kentucky and that they are quick to say that they speak for the whole state of Kentucky, but it's really clear that we're not for what they're standing for right now. So I think it's really important to use your voice and to be able to contact them and tell them that.
Protesters then participated in a die-out. They were given names and ages of Palestinians killed in the conflict, which they rested on their chests as they laid on the ground for nearly 20 minutes. By playing dead, they aimed to show what it's like in Palestine and memorialize those who lost their lives.
My dad is from Shukba, which is in the West Bank. I've actually had 2 of my own relatives be killed by the Israeli offensive forces in the West Bank. They say that they're attacking Gaza to eliminate a terrorist organization. There isn't a terrorist organization in the West Bank. They're simply using their power to eliminate Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza.
Back in December, I covered an individual named LeAndre Hayes, who at one point in his life was living in the streets in a wheelchair as an alcoholic. Now LeAndre Hayes stands tall and proud as a professional skateboarder, business owner, and a follower of Christ. Here's his story.
My name is LeAndre Hayes, professional skateboarder. I currently ride for O-Bones Therapy, PMT skateboard, 606 wheels, Silhouettes, and dark slide grip tape, man. I'm 4 years clean from alcohol and drugs, just celebrated that. A man of God, a full-time father, employee, business owner. Involved is my brand that I own. But let's go back 4 years to who I was most of my life, man. Most people know me as Lee Hayes, drunk at the skate park, taking your money, breaking your skateboards, just being a nuisance, just literally being a real life troll. And I was like that for most of my skate career, just so lost. Fast forward a little bit further, 2019, my 34th birthday, I believe. Went to Cincinnati, probably drunk about, I swear to you, probably about 25 beers. All day, drunk, blackout. And I'm Lee Hayes, so I was filming a video for some part. I don't know what I was filming for. But I decided I wanted to do a crooked grind down this Hubbard, Delhi, Cincinnati skate park, and I can K-grind absolutely anything. So I was like, I got this crooked grind, whatever, no big deal. Not that day. I decided to do the crooked grind. My board slipped over the ledge, broke my ankle, my leg in 4 places. What made matters worse, I was so delusional in my skating and my drunk drunkenness. When I stood up, I broke it more. Like, yeah, it was pretty gross. So after I broke it, this is the crazy part I tell people all the time. When I broke my leg, I sat at this skate park in Delhi, Ohio. It was my 31st birthday. I had 12 more beers in my bag. I sat there for 3 hours with a broken leg, drinking, broken leg, twitching. My toes were turning. Dude, the alcohol got me. Like, I was like, dude, I can't go to this hospital. They don't have beer there. So I finished a 12-pack before I went to the emergency room with a shattered leg. And the thing is, when I got there, they wanted to amputate my leg on spot. And I was like, you guys are crazy. So once again, stubborn skateboarder. My girlfriend at the time, we drove back down to Lexington with a broken leg. And the whole time I'm in the back seat drinking vodka. I ended up getting homeless, being homeless, losing my skate career, losing sponsors, you know, and having a broken leg. Of course, they gave me pills. So I started doing a lot of pills. And I'm not a drug addict, but free pills is free pills. So I definitely got hooked to those bad boys. So man, sleeping on the streets. Most of my skate career, I've been homeless. But since I'm Lee Hayes, people let me crash out. You know what I mean? So when I broke my leg, I was like homeless. Like nobody had no couch for me on this rodeo. I was stuck outside, like being homeless on the streets with a broken leg. You're like a wolf out there, man. You're dead. You're 100% dead. Like being homeless on the street with a broken leg, real turning around, you're a goner. So when I'm sleeping outside, I call 3 people, my mom, my friend Brooks, and my friend John Rowe. He's a pastor. I wanted to hear them voices for some reason before I die. I don't know if you can relate to this, but like when you know you're dead, you're dead. In that moment, I was dead. Like I couldn't skate. Like drinking wasn't working no more. Drugs wasn't working. I was delusional from the drugs. I just had a conversation with them. They didn't know I was gonna kill myself. But after I got off the phone with my mom, my pastor, and my friend Brooks, I sat there and started crying, and I just realized like a voice talked to me. And I knew it was God. I didn't know it was God at the time, but a voice told me, don't do it right now, Lee. You can kill yourself later, but not right now. I swear, I heard it so clearly. Don't do it right now. And I'm crying, looking at this bottle of vodka, because that's all I had was a bottle of vodka in my hand, just crying. So I ended up just wheelchairing. I called my mom, she picked me up, and I told her I'm done drinking. I ended up going down to UK hospital. Ironically, that's where I work at now. And I told them that if y'all don't admit me, I'm done. They admitted me, put me on a 7-day detox. Flash forward a couple months, and I'm going to a rehab called Stepworks. When I got to that place, I knew that was the beginning of the rest of my life. I didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew I didn't want to drink no more. I knew I couldn't live that life no more. You know, I didn't know, I was going to get the business, the skate career again, the car, the wife. I just knew at that moment I didn't want to drink no more. I went to more, most people get out and do their thing. I went to more outpatient treatment. So I really wanted this. I didn't skate. I didn't pick up a board. I focused on being alive. I was in a wheelchair for 18 months, so I'm still healing from a broken leg too. People don't realize when you stop drinking as much as I did, your body rewards itself. It heals. Your brain heals. The life I live today, that's what we're going to get to. The life I live today is a beautiful life. I have God. I have friends. I got people that love me. You know what I mean? I got 7 kids that I see. Like I said, I got sponsors that, they show me support. You know, I have my own business involved. And it's just one of those things that, like, if you feel like giving up, just don't. Like, people love you. You know, and I'm sober to this day, 4 years, and sometimes I still feel the same. It doesn't mean problem doesn't happen, but if you feel like it's over, it's not. You have such a life to live, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things that your life is worth living for. And that's, I don't know who needs to hear this or who is going to watch this, but just keep going.
When touring UK's campus, many people fall in love with the large dorm rooms. However, with the increase in UK freshmen this past August, the university faced a housing crisis and created a new dorm style called Triads. Earlier this October, I discovered the true feelings students had about living in Triads and how a group of 3 students walked into their so-called Triad to see it was actually a converted study room. According to the University of Kentucky, having another record-breaking freshman class size, this caused the two-person suite-style dorm rooms to convert into triads. In this new style of UK dorm, 3 people will share a common area, where 2 people will share a bunk bed and the other has a normal-size room. Freshmen Natalie Nelson and Molly Arnold currently live at Shelgren Hall and share their triad experience so far.
I think sometimes, like, I just want my own space.
Real.
You know, like, sometimes you just want to be able to come to your room and, like, do homework and decompress. And, like, with the triad room, it's great always having someone to talk to. But at the same time, like, you kind of need alone time at times, especially being in college and adjusting. So I think that's definitely been a struggle for me, at least.
And kind of for me, just like making plans and trying to be like considerate of like Molly's time and stuff like that. Like I won't have anybody over whenever I know she wants to go to bed or something like that.
It is not enough space for 2 people. Like, this is a room built for 1 person, and especially 2 girls who both have a bunch of stuff. Like, it's definitely been hard trying to fit everything in here, especially our closet. The closet's like the main issue because we both have a lot of clothes. I was upset. I'm not going to lie. And I know they just had a large class size and they didn't have enough housing for it. But at the same time, like, I don't know why I have to pay the effects for it. Also, the triad rooms are way too expensive for what we are getting.
3 freshmen walked into what they thought was their triad dorm, when it actually was a converted study room.
When I walked in, there was no dividers or anything like that or curtains, and I thought I was walking into a triad, and then I walked into this, so like, just seemed like, I was like, well, there's gonna be no privacy at all, which was a bit of a shock, but.
I agree. I came in here and I was very upset. I was told that these were transformed into triads a week before, and we had no source of that, like, no one told us that this was going to happen.
Yeah, like, I bought stuff planning to be like, you know, bunk bed. Like, I was the first one out of the 3 roommates to walk in, and there was nothing. Like, when I first walked in, it was just 3 beds lined up.
It was 3 beds vertically. It looked like boot camp. It was exactly like this, but obviously no covers or anything. It was a bed and a desk, and then...
Yeah, no curtains or anything like that, but...
I heard that some triads had, like, $100 of flex, and then $50 at the bookstore, or vice versa, or whatever. We actually didn't get anything, and so we kind of got
a Visa gift card. It was like a $25 Visa gift card, for sure.
You got a Visa gift card.
Did you not get a Visa gift card?
I did not get a Visa gift card, so we're kind of living in here, the same expenses and everything. I think they should take better care of the people that are giving them money to come here.
Yeah, and like the returning students too.
You know, I just think we should be rewarded maybe less money for housing, or
free housing.
I think
free housing, because we were surprised.
Free housing, honestly, would be
like, it can't hurt you that much. UK.
Jay Blanton, the UK spokesperson, said it's estimated an incoming class size of 6,500 students, roughly the same as the current freshman class. About 30% of residence halls were converted to triads, and that will remain the same for the upcoming school year.
The streets of downtown Lexington were filled with people to help kick off the holiday season. The annual Christmas parade features floats, bands, and of course, Santa Claus himself. Reporter Edward Smith has more on this holly jolly story.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in Lexington as the city's annual parade drew thousands to the streets of downtown.
11 a.m. on the first Saturday in December means it's time for bands, floats, and Santa himself to march down Main Street in a tradition that has brought Christmas joy through the heart of Lexington for years.
We love coming out here and seeing all of Lexington's decorations.
3 of those years, Haley Ferguson has enjoyed watching her children wave to St. Nick.
I think this year, we definitely wanted to come out because the weather was going to be pretty good, not too cold, fortunately not raining, but yeah, we were excited to see Santa.
The parade was not just an entertaining experience. For the past 4 years, it has also served as an educational experience for UK College of Communication and Information students. Students in the event planning class have worked all semester with the Downtown Lexington Partnership to plan the event.
But it gives these students such an incredible opportunity to work with DLP, has worked with the units and the bands. They recruit them, they get them involved, activities both both before and after the parade.
While around 50 floats passed by crowds of spectators, UK senior Tatiana Slayton stayed busy.
Such as providing coloring books for the children, looking for more supplies when we started to run out. Having such a hands-on class that actually benefits what you're looking forward to going into is such an invaluable experience.
So all of these came together because these students working very closely with DLP, so it was a magical day.
The parade is just one of many events the Downtown Lexington Partnership holds during December. Others include a light display at Kentucky Horse Park and ice skating here at Triangle Park. I'm Edward Smith reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
This new UK club is feeling 22 and shaking it off into their Taylor Swift era with no trouble. Check out this story about the Taylor Swift Club from reporter Carly Hogston.
Amidst the chaos of exams and papers, students uncover a way to bond within the latest club on campus, dedicated to none other than Taylor Swift.
My name is Chandler Maddox, and I'm the president and founder of the Taylor Swift Club. I founded this club last year in October because it just gives us like an opportunity to meet more Swifties and just come together in community.
I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, and it seemed just like an easy way to get involved. So I went to go see her in Detroit and Pittsburgh, and I just wanted to spend time with people who have similar interests to me. It's just a lot easier to like recognize people's faces when I like walk around on campus and say hi, and that makes it feel more like home. And I really enjoyed the first meeting where we did a debate on which album was the best because it got people like talking really easily and very opinionated very fast.
So tonight we came up with this idea. We're painting CDs, so you can, we're gonna paint the CDs and decorate them, and then you can either use them as like hanging up in your room, or you can even like add actual music to it, and you can have like your personalized own CD.
I think that it gets people out of their comfort zone because we have planned activities beforehand that not everybody, like we did a presentation night, and just things that like you might not do in your everyday to-day life, like, and especially we're doing like an arts and craft thing right now, and not everybody like does that, but it's like, it's about something we all enjoy, so I think it's very fun to get out of your comfort zone.
I know college can be like super stressful just like all the time, so I know it's just a fun club. It's given me also like a creative outlet to be able to come up with fun events every month. And no, you don't have to be like a huge Swiftie to come. We want everyone to come who wants to.
The Taylor Swift Club plans to do a trivia night next meeting. To learn more, you can visit the BB Involved page. I'm Carly Hogston, reporting for the Kentucky Kernel.
AI has become a tool for many of us, but for UK researchers, this was the missing piece to their puzzle after nearly 20 years. UK researchers are able to read the ancient Herculaneum scrolls using artificial intelligence. Here's Deanna Gallo with the story.
After a 20-year journey, University of Kentucky researchers are able to read the unreadable of the Herculaneum scrolls using AI. Professor of Computer Science at UK, Brent Seals, started the Vesuvius Challenge and the attempt to solve the Herculaneum scrolls in 2002.
These scrolls are iconic. They come from the only extant library from the classical period that has ever been discovered. So we know that there were many libraries in the classical period that held many works from the ancients, Greeks, Romans, others. But those libraries are all gone, all of them except this one library. And it contained a set of almost 2,000 different books in the form of these scrolls. So it's an iconic discovery because it's the only one. This most recent breakthrough with the Herculaneum material is really our most virtuosic sort of result because it overcomes every one of the various kinds of damages all in one thing. It's sort of like the hardest example you can imagine. The ink is not metal, so we have to have some way to make it be more visible. We use AI. The papyrus is badly damaged. In fact, it's carbonized, so we have to overcome the burning. And they're actually not that easy to get access to. So we have to overcome the politics, right, of just being able to make the collaboration possible to be able to collect the data. What virtual unwrapping is to find where the pages are, model them, and then pull them out so they're flat. With a book, that's easy because all the pages are already flat in that volume. But with a scroll, it's harder because the the surface that the writing is on is actually all wrapped up. So the unwrapping part is kind of like a simulation that you would see in a video game where cloth or a flag is kind of waving in the wind. We do that in reverse. We find where that is in the volume, and then we flatten it out as if it were a piece of fabric or a flag waving in the wind. And the AI is the thing that stands in that gap between what's there and what we can see. So we can turn the knobs on that AI and we can make certain things pop out that aren't obvious. And one of the things we really want to see is the ink.
Stephen Parsons is a research advisor for the Vesuvius Challenge. Parsons shares the Digital Restoration Initiative, being a research lab at Kentucky that focuses on damaged manuscripts and scrolls that need science behind them.
The Herculaneum scrolls are extra challenging, and they've resisted being read in this way for so long because as objects, they make things difficult in almost every way possible. So one of those ways is the ink doesn't show up very clearly in X-ray images. In some cases, is literally called iron gall ink because there's iron in the ink. So when you put that in an X-ray or a CT scanner, you can see the iron much more clearly. It's like bright spots. So the text just sort of appears in place, and then the job is to trace the pages and flatten them out, and then you'll see the text show up. With the Herculaneum scrolls, the ink is made out of soot, which is pure carbon, and the scrolls are made out of papyrus, which is a plant, which is almost pure carbon. So in an X-ray image, they look the same. It's like the same shade of gray. So even if you do all of the work to trace the page and virtually flatten it, it looks like a blank sheet. And what we've developed over the years is machine learning tools that show that we actually can recover the ink from those scans. It's just a really, really subtle pattern that doesn't appear to our naked eye. So we have to train a model to do it for us.
Sydney Chapman, a senior at UK majoring in computer science, helped create the team's quick segment tool to use on the scrolls.
This is something that we've developed to help with the segmentation process of the scroll, which is how we basically isolate a single wrap within the scroll and then take it out to read it using machine learning, or if it was an originally iron ink that is then able to easily be differentiated by the scanner. So iron would be denser than the papyrus, and you wouldn't have to use machine learning to tell the difference between that and the paper. Since Herculaneum was carbonized, both the ink and the paper were turned to carbon, and that's not differentiable by that normal method. That's where the machine learning comes in. But quick segment we use to be able to read these scrolls that are very tightly wrapped and packed together, where our original tool, volume chromatographer, struggled with differentiate these layers within the wraps. So we made this to help that process along, and with it we were able to create the first largest segment ever to be removed from the inside of a closed Herculaneum scroll.
I think that's the first principle, is that we have to understand the past in order to understand the present and the future. I think there's another important principle at play too, and that is sometimes it's hard to have conversations about things that are difficult. And the past can lead us to those conversations. If we go back far enough, all of the politics, all of the dissension, all of the things that divide us sort of drop away, and they melt away into the mist of history. And then we find something like a scroll where we have common ground and we can talk about things. And I think these things are valuable for that too.
After only a couple months of cracking the Herculaneum scrolls, research quickly advances. I went back to talk with Stephen Parsons, who shared the groundbreaking news from only being able to read the word purple to now being able to read an entire scroll.
Vesuvius Challenge is the name of the competition, and this is as far as we know, a novel way of doing research that we haven't seen before. So we took what was a body of research done here at the University of Kentucky, including some of my own work, and we released it. We released data sets online, and we released our code and our methods, and we invited the world to contribute and extend what we had done, and we issued a set of prizes for certain milestones. So last year we had a grand prize that certainly at the beginning of the year was really quite ambitious, and in order to work towards the grand prize, we had a series of progress prizes. So we worked throughout the year with our community to issue these smaller milestone prizes and guide progress towards the grand prize. And so we've issued last year more than $1 million in prizes to many people from all over the world who have made all kinds of contributions on this research problem. People at the University of Kentucky are still involved. In November, we were talking about the first letters that we had discovered from inside the scroll. So in October, we had just announced the First Letters Prize, and we awarded that to a first place and second place winner for discovering the first word, which was the Greek word for purple, as well as a few other words. And that was the first time after about 20 years of working on this research problem that we made it that far. So that was a huge milestone. The next month, in December, we received submissions for our grand prize last year. And we had many submissions, and we awarded, earlier this month, after a judging process, we awarded the grand prize from 2023 to a submission that revealed about 15 columns of text. So we went from a word to multiple passages of Greek philosophy. There are a lot of highs and lows. This has been a really challenging research problem, and sometimes we have periods where there hasn't been as much progress, or we feel stuck. But the highs have been so exciting with this work, and we've consistently been able to find a way out of feeling stuck. And at this point, we know there's a lot of that left to come. So I'm drawn to this because it's such a fascinating technical problem. It's an interesting challenge, and we know there's so much more to do. We have so many more ideas that we haven't tried yet, and we can't wait to try them. And I think the technical challenge combined with the significance of this library I find really compelling. We have known what some of the scrolls say, and a lot of it is Greek philosophy. About 20% of the collection is written in Latin, and a lot of the philosophy is Epicurean, and specifically a lot of it is authored by a scholar named Philodemus. So now we have methods capable of reading these scrolls without damaging them physically, which is exciting because we can read the rest of the collection, and we can also probably read it much more completely than we've been able to read the scrolls so far. The physical unrolling efforts cause so much destruction that you don't get all of the text out, and you lose a lot of it permanently. So we're hopeful that these digital methods will allow 100% recovery of the text within the scrolls. So of the first one that we're reading now, it is indeed more Greek philosophy. So we can now know that it's an Epicurean philosophical work about life's pleasures. So it talks about music, talks about food, and yeah, the people then were thinking about the same things we are now, about trying to figure out how to live a good life. So it's amazing to read from a hand that wrote it 2,000 years ago, and we see it now on our screens.
For all things Kentucky Kernel, be sure to check out our website at kykernel.com.
And follow us on all social media, including X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.